A couple things happened to me this week, bro.
Uh-oh.
So weird things happened to me. So
Okay.
I'm going into Kroger, and as I'm walking in, minding my business, and about to get into the door, this old lady comes out the other door, and she takes one step out the door, and she screams, "Rob!" I mean, I freak out, right? And I look, and I'm like, do I go help? What is happening? And then she goes, "Rob!" I was like, and I just looked at her. I said, "Can I help you?" And she said, "I'm looking for my husband." I was like, "Oh, geez." She just came walking out the store screaming for her husband who's in the parking lot.
Oh, his name is Rob.
His name is Rob.
I think you said she noticed who you were.
No, it freaked me out though, man. It was crazy.
Did you help her to the car at least?
No, I stood there and I was like, "Rob!"
You started calling Rob too.
Yeah. All right. So then, okay, this is my 18th year with the team.
18th. Okay.
A first happened to me this week. A first. I was walking outside of our hotel in New York, and one of the autograph people said, "Mr. Fisher." And I was like, "Yes." And he said, "Can I get a selfie?" Got a selfie. Andy was on the phone with his brother and said, "Look, it's Rob Fisher." Then, of course, he asked if you were there, but but that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that I had an autograph. It was cool. It was a young man who he had lived in Memphis and 6 years ago moved to New York, and he was going to the game. He grew up a huge Grizzlies fan. I mean, when he was in Memphis 6 years ago, he was probably 8, 9 years old. I mean, that's how young of a man he was. But he grew up watching us on TV, right? And knew who we were. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Listen to this now. You're 18 years. This is my 16th year. People have definitely grown up.
Yeah.
Listening to us.
From
just
when they
think
were
about
little
that from
kids.
little kids, and the team was good. So many years ago.
Yeah.
While they were good, so there was the overwhelming thing for all people here in Memphis to now cheer for the Grizzlies. It's like, well, we're gonna watch. So yeah, people, it's crazy when you stick around long enough and people start talking about, man, when I was in grammar school, I can't believe it. Like, Jesus, grammar school.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember when I was a kid that I collected autographs, right? I was a huge sports fan. I collected autographs to the point where I collected the autographs of like the broadcasters. Like I would have had my autograph as a kid.
Really?
So like anytime anyone asks for my autograph or whatever, I always find it very kind of fun, because it takes me back to when I was a child, and I'm like, hell yeah, this kid's like I was, and loves everything about sports. I had the local sports guys' autographs and everything. And then I ended up working with them all, which was kind of weird. But
I got your
it was also kind of cool at the same time. So I've always been, it doesn't happen to me all the time and no one is selling my autograph, but I enjoy doing it. For you, I mean, I assume it started in college, right? Where people would seek out your autograph.
Yes.
And then even to this day, people will ask you for your autograph. What has been your opinion on the autograph thing and how much has it changed from like Stanford days to now?
Well, I just kind of was messing around the other day, and I saw I got a card that I signed. Somebody's trying to sell it for $26 on Amazon.
Nice.
So, I always get caught in between those times of, am I signing for somebody because they're just a fan and they're a collector, or are you signing for somebody because they have a whole bunch of things and they're trying to just make a buck?
Right.
But at the end of the day, if you can make $2 or 99 cents off of me by getting a signed card, I'm happy I helped you out. But I think for the bigger thing was it is kids who just enjoy the same one. They have the same feeling you had. Now I was the opposite. I didn't collect cards. I never really worried about autographs. I also never had the opportunity to go to professional sporting events in that way. So it wasn't a big thing for me. But now whenever people ask, I try to sign everybody, no matter where we are. It's cold, we're going to the bus somewhere. Because it's nice to be recognized, but it's also nice to be able to maybe make somebody feel good about themselves or smile just by literally saying, "Hey, how you doing?" and signing my name. That took 30 seconds for me to do. Not a lot of time.
Maybe it doesn't faze you anymore, but it had to faze you for a while, or at some point. It
phases me more now.
Right, at this point of your career where you're like, these people in San Francisco, Brevin, can we get your auto? And I sit there and I'm like, come on, Brevin, let's go.
But no, so I think I appreciate it even more now. While you're in the midst of it, it's like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Sure.
And it's like, if nobody is asking you, you almost like, hey, you
What
know
about me?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, want me to sign? I'll sign.
As we always joke leaving the bus. I'm not signing today.
I'm okay. I can't do it today. But no, when it happens now, I'm even more so like, oh, that's cool. I'll sign.
Yeah. All right. Hey, this is Night Court. We're delaying the inevitable. Welcome to the show. I'm Rob Fisher. He's Brevin Knight. You can catch us on Twitter at The Fish Nation, at Brevin Knight 22. The show is at Night Court 22, and you can watch each and every episode of Night Court on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. You can just search Night Court and boom, there. It's right there. You get it. And you can watch each and every episode each and every week. How you doing, man? I love your shirt. Shout out Canada.
So my boy BC.
That's fantastic.
He is playing some really good basketball. Yeah. Oh, hey, listen, him and Zach Edey. I'm not going to leave you out, Zach. I'm not going to leave you out, big fella. You're new, but you're our new Canadian. But this all originated
with BC,
with BC
shout out
and
Canada.
Dylan.
And Dylan, the Canada guys.
The Canadians.
Yeah,
so, and then I had a bunch of shirts with those couple saying, well, I didn't. My family did for Christmas. They got me a bunch. And I was like, well, we're inside. Might as well start wearing some of these.
I like it. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Yeah, so I'm doing great, man. Hey, we played the Knicks.
Oh, yeah?
I got to stay at home, went and watch my nephew play.
Yeah.
And got to see my mom and dad, and so my niece and my great niece. And so that was fun.
I went on a sponsor dinner compared to the last sponsor dinner. Holy crap. This one was amazing. This one was incredible. Arguably best meal I've ever had in my life. How about that?
Best meal we have.
And it was a great view from the rooftop of the hotel, of the entire city. It was awesome, and it was great to see the Empire State Building lit up, Chiefs red and gold. Yeah, Chiefs.
I was a freaking offer on the football games.
Yeah, I know.
I sucked.
All right, the Grizzlies week. Charlotte stomped them early. Big Luke night. Luke aggressive night. It was great to see. Which followed
High school Luke,
which followed New Orleans, which was more Luke. Luke again, 2 nights in a row. He was incredible. Big second half in that game. Took care of business the way they were supposed to take care of business of a couple of teams.
They say that if you are wanting to be a playoff team, then you have to feast on those teams that are under 500.
Yeah.
Because I tell everybody, when you start playing the upper echelon and when they play against each other, you think because they're all good, it's going to kind of even out. What separates you is how well did you do against the bottom teams. And if you're a team that can, like I said, feast on them and get those wins, they just put you in a better position in terms of what the outcome of the season will be.
That's why they're like 15-4 against the East.
Yes, because the teams that they are supposed to beat. And I always say, like, people are like, well, you're supposed to win. Yeah, but teams don't win those games.
Yeah, right.
A lot of times you go out in those games, you have a little bit of a letdown that allows the other team an opportunity to sneak in. And so they've done a good job. We had our nemesis, our Achilles heel team being Brooklyn. We were able to at least get one away from them by playing them the third time. But outside of that, I think they did a great job, especially on that homestand, to win all 4 of the games. Was the Minnesota one was the first one was the tough one. And then the next 3 were teams that if you don't play, they can't beat you. But if you play well, you're definitely supposed to win.
Yeah, and if you lose, you kind of give back what you did with Minnesota. You know, it's like those 3 kind of validated. You know, if some play games where you have to validate it, well, this was that sort of opportunity.
You do that in golf. If you win a hole, you win a hole on one end, you get a birdie or whatever. You validate it on the next hole by at least parring. So you make more money.
That's right. Utah, same sort of deal. Beat Utah. Jaren was awesome. Gigi had 15, won 6 straight. It seems like Gigi's getting in the flow a little bit better, which is good. And Jaren, just the whole homestand was Western Conference Player of the Week, and deservedly so. He was awesome.
I mean, we've talked about it all year. I mean, he has been a model of consistency for this team, and they've needed for him to be that way. I think he has benefited from the way that the style of basketball, of how they're playing. He's benefited from it, and he just continued to. I think he's picked up on where he was last year. And the thing that I like about him this season is, yes, the aggression, the getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. I just like how active he is with his hands on the defensive side. Yes, the blocks up top, but the deflections, the steals on that end, and just the every night he goes out there, the belief that he's going to go out and dominate has been terrific.
Yeah, he's been awesome. And then my note for the New York game. Hold on, let me see what it says here. At New York, it says, I think that's what that says.
It should say.
Ugh. That was gross, man.
It
was gross. It was gross. It was gross. I imagine it was gross to broadcast because it was gross listening to you people.
Well, yeah. Well, you know that the thing that I've tried to do in this next career of mine,
Right.
is to realize that we have no influence on the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there are certain situations and certain games that become big games that you feel as though you're a part of the game also. So you're fully engaged in this. And so that game, I was fully engaged in that game. And a lot of it was because I got so many friends that are Knicks fans, and the Knicks are finally playing really good basketball, and they were just talking so much shit about how they were going to kick our ass. We're not ready for this level of basketball. Look at what y'all been doing. I said, that's all right. Wait until we get into New York, and then you're going to see every one of our guys take a step up. You're going to see Josh. We coming to Madison Square Garden. It's a bright lights. You got stars all around the floor. You're about to see Josh, Jez, and Jaren go to work and see the best of them. And then the rest of the team will come along with them. Oh, I'm talking cash money. I'm getting after it.
How'd that
Boy,
work out?
did I get my ass reamed.
That's
That was not, it
that's
was,
the second time that's happened to you in a week and a half.
unfortunately.
Happened in Houston, I believe.
Houston, I told all of them, don't worry.
You told their players.
I think maybe I should stop talking. See, that's what happens when you do all the talking, but there's nothing that you can do to affect the outcome in any way, shape, or form. Literally, all we do is sit there and wait for something to happen to tell you why it happened, how it happened, and that's it.
Yeah.
And in that game, I thought the thing I take away from that game that probably irked me the most was it seemed like it didn't bother us that they were doing any and everything they wanted to do. And like the competitor that I am, like there is something within me that I'm not gonna let y'all just keep running up and down having a good time.
Well, the word you used in the broadcast
It's
is a word that's as competitive as I was, and I still feel that I am. Embarrassing is one of the worst words you can hear, man. I mean that's the last thing you want to happen.
Yeah, I would say it's still just one loss.
Right.
But it was the way they lost. It was the way. We'll go through the stats and you'll see how they dominated in every area of the game. But it was the way that we reacted to it. Like I wanted to see more fight. I wanted to see more guys upset that it was happening. Like not just we got another game. It went that way. I've never been good with that feeling.
Yeah.
Like I've never been okay with people that's just like, oh, don't worry, we get to. I just like it. To me, that means that to me, it's like you're not really recognizing why that happened.
Right.
Like there was a reason why it happened. It wasn't just by happenstance and just come. There's been a pattern now, and when the word gets out, it's very hard for you now to change what the word is because now every other team in the NBA is gonna say, hey, if you want to beat the Grizzlies, bro, just touch them.
They're soft.
Just touch them. Don't allow
Another
them.
ugly word.
Right. Do not allow them to just run freely, play this fast-breaking basketball, move through the paint how they want. Touch them. And that will get them off kilter. It'll get them out of their rhythm, and they won't play together anymore. It'll be very individualistic basketball. And so you don't want that to become the message that gets around. And so they're gonna have to be better mentally and physically in those type of matchups when they play against those type teams.
There's a member of the coaching staff that comes through the plane every time we're about to take off and either fist bumps everybody or slaps their hand or whatever, and usually has a message like, let's go, whatever, kind of just whatever. And I thought he hit the right word last night when he did it. And he gave the fist bump and he just said, hey, reset. I think this team needs to reset because they have another game tomorrow that this team has punked you.
3 times.
3 times, yes.
And it's what they do is the Achilles heel of this team right now. And so Listen, it's going to take a big effort from them to be able to beat Houston, because Houston is an excellent basketball team.
Yep.
And they have embodied the spirit and the way that Ime Udoka played when he was a basketball player. The exact way that they play is how he played, which is I don't give a damn who you are. And they got the right people to be there. Fred VanVleet, it's the way that he's always played the game. Dylan Brooks, as we know, it's all the way he played the game. They don't give a damn about nobody except the people that's within their ranks. That's how Ime played and how he looks at the game. That's the way that Jalen Green played. I mean, you go down the list. Tari Eason, all of their guys. Whitmore, when he comes in, every one of those guys have that demeanor. And so when we go in the game tomorrow, you gotta be ready to match that same demeanor. And so for the Grizzlies, I think it's going to take. Yes, still playing you want to play up and down. You got to play that way, but you also got to bring some nastiness to the floor. Now you can't be everybody's friend. You got to go out there and they got to have a level of nastiness to them while they're playing the basketball game. Still play at that pace, figuring it out. How do they then execute in half court? But you got to get a little nastier on the floor.
Yeah, in the last 2 games they lost to Houston. I think they've only lost by 6 total points, but it hasn't felt like it.
Yeah,
the games haven't felt.
No, because you think about it, in those games we've had double-digit leads that have evaporated.
Yeah.
And so this is not something that's like the Houston Rockets over here and the Grizzlies over here. No, there is no team that is they're over here and we're down here. There's no team. It is just the mindset at which they go out and play every night, depending on who the opponent is. The opponent changes who they are. And here's the other thing I want to talk about is you got to figure out a way to play to the strengths of Ja Morant. Like there has to be some level of he is good playing with the ball in his hands and playing in screen and roll action at some point. Now, can they figure out how to get more screen and roll action? Who's going to be that guy? Because I say if it's going to be Zach Edey, then they got to do it more often so he gets accustomed to the angles of how to set screens in the NBA with the speed of Ja Morant and how he likes to get to the basket, which way, because he got very comfortable with getting open because he got screen set by Jonas Valanciunas and Steven Adams. Mm-hmm. You're talking 2 of the best bigs in the game at getting a guard open by setting screens. We come this year, now you have a rookie that's coming into the league who's still trying to figure out the league. Where am I going to get the ball? How do I move? Oh, set the screen flat. Am I going to set it on the left? Do you want me to set it on the right? Now, am I rolling hard? Am I rolling just to the mid post? Am I going for a lob? Am I pop? There's many nuances to setting the screen that we're trying to ask a young guy who hasn't been in the game long enough and is not playing heavy minutes to be able to say you're going to do it. The other person is Jaren Jackson Jr. has never been a screen and roll player. It's not a part of what he does on a regular basis. So now when you go to do it, it's awkward in terms of, okay, how am I doing it? Am I wide? It's not a normal thing. Brandon Clark sets screens with his hands mostly. It's not a physical screen to get you open. It's more run up, and now I'm going. Because for him, quickness is his advantage, not being physical, lumber. Let me give you a bump and get going. So they're going to have to figure out how to try to adapt to what makes Ja Morant good. But the second thing is Ja Morant's also going to have to do better in terms of what other ways can I be successful to help this team win? Not the teams that we needed him to be the savior every possession when he was earlier. It's not when he was in college where he had to do everything for everybody to make everybody good because Jaren is elevated. Dez is elevated. The bench is elevated. So now he doesn't have to do it all, but you still have to be impactful when you're on the floor. And so it's both ways. They got to figure out how to make it a little easier for him, but he also has to adapt to where we are right now. And I think something for him that will help is when I get into the paint, shoot the little floater. Pull-up jump shot. I've been saying this since after his first year. If he can get that pull-up jump shot or the floater, it makes the game so much easier because now I don't have to do contact every possession. Now I get this shot, bang, this floater. Now I get hit, hesitation, you want to come? Now I get a layup. Right now we're doing so much that just go to the basket, contact, go to the basket, contact, that don't abandon when they give you this, just take that little shot right there.
I think this year feels different for me because I think in years past, I've had the feeling of, at this point of the season, that we are who we are. I don't know if we are who we can be at this point.
we can be so much better. And I think the combination of trying to still allow everyone to have a hand and the ball is moving. It's really good. The ball is moving, it's going that way. But the reality is, when you get to the last 5 minutes, or when we're in the game with our big three and whoever the other two are, the offense is going to run differently because those guys are skilled enough that they can make it happen themselves. But you got to still play together and make it. When the other guys come in the game, they understand that I'm going to use everybody. Using everybody makes me be good. I'm not just using, I'm a cut, easy score, set a screen. We're gonna run, bang, 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 because that's how that group can be successful. The other guys they have the ability to do it themselves, but they got to figure out how to put it all together, and then we'll be able to see them, I think, reach bigger heights.
All right, good stuff. All right, well now we're like short on time, and
well, I told you I was coming here with
stuff I want to talk about.
I told you I wanted to talk some basketball today. We get off the other stuff, and too many people have been asking me this, that, and the other.
Oh man!
So the basketball side is they got to try to do some more screens up high that allows Ja to be in a comfort zone. But he also has got to do a better job through the body of game of still being able to be effective and not just say run a high screen and roll. And then from there then they figure out how to play in the game situations. But this is nothing that is. It's not like we got to blow some alarm. It's like it's over. Like the season is over. Oh my gosh! No, they just have to tighten up in a couple of areas. If you are talking about winning the championship, now if we're just talking about getting to the playoffs, we'll be fine. But if you want to win a championship, they got to tighten up, and mentally you have to get stronger on the mental side of this game in order for them to take that step.
Yeah, the losses seem to be against teams that are similar.
It's the physical teams that have talent. Physically talented teams give us problems.
Yes.
I'm freaking sick and tired of the metrics. Metrics. You know what I'm saying? The metrics are ruining college basketball, and I think we need to do away with them. I know I'm one of the ones that's always looking at them, and I can't help it. But it's because the damn things are updated every single night. If a team went out there and won every single game this year by 1 point, their metrics would be shit, but they would be the national champion. We have a good resume, and we're going to get hurt down the stretch because we're not beating teams by 20 plus. And I think that's stupid.
College basketball, very specifically, is quite unpredictable.
TJ.
And you get these weird runs, dude, and this stuff happens all the time. So when people mention Kim Palm, I'm like, okay, you can use it sometimes, but it can't be your Bible for a lot of this stuff.
The metrics,
you can't use it that way.
And these dorks and these computers are trying to make college basketball make sense. And that's the beauty of college basketball, is it doesn't freaking make sense.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. But you look at the 21 team, the 22 team, the 23 team. A lot of times you'll see Memphis go on long winning streaks and then multiple games in a row losses, right?
Yeah.
Like last year, they won 3 conference games and then lost 4. Then they won 3 and then they lost 3.
How many times have we called Memphis seasons roller coasters? Because they take those swings, like you said, like they'll win 3 really good games and then they'll drop a couple just inexcusable.
The things that plagued them in the Temple game, they fixed in the Charlotte game, and they beat another team on the road in a conference where it's landmine season, landmine game after landmine game. They righted the ship rather quickly comparatively to other Tiger teams. Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, Sacramento Kings are opening discussions on trading De'Aaron Fox. What has happened?
It's Sacramento, man. It's Sacramento. And the thing is,
I guess he's made it clear he's not coming back. So what are they supposed to do?
Right. So, but
that happens to Sacramento.
Yeah, right. But the thing I always say though is why did it doesn't have to be a public thing. Mm. So if he said he wants to move on. All right, well, we're gonna figure out. We'll figure out. You don't want to re-sign here. We figure out what's best for you for where you go, and that's fine. Like the difference between this and the Jimmy Butler is that De'Aaron Fox is still playing the games.
Yeah.
It's like I'm still gonna go out and compete and play hard and do what I have to do to make this team good until something happens.
Yeah.
The Jimmy Butler situation is just, oh man, trade me. Y'all don't want me. I ain't playing.
De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs.
I mean, that would be
It's interesting, right?
very. But let me tell you what's more interesting is what does San Antonio have to give up to be able to get De'Aaron Fox? Who are you? Which of these young pieces that they have that you're gonna give up to go and get him?
No way on Castle, right?
No way on Castle. Now, know who becomes who's in that? Keldon Johnson is a name that will definitely have to come up in that situation. You start looking at like Branham maybe. Like if you can give up some of your guys who are duplicates at a position, then you say okay. But you don't want to dip into the guys you really feel have some growth moving forward.
Do you feel do you applaud what the Miami Heat are doing?
I don't know. I say it like this. I say that they are. I'm not gonna say I applaud them. I say that they're doing what they have to do. At some point in time, I think you got to take a stand because I really don't maybe I'm at a loss, but you sign a contract to play.
Yeah.
You don't. Okay, I'm not gonna be here. Maybe y'all don't want me, but that still doesn't mean you don't play the game. Like you still go out and play, or if you don't, then don't play. You just lose money.
Right.
Until something happens. Then the problem was Jimmy Butler just ran into a guy who's like, all right, well, you just won't play. That's fine. We'll play with the guys that's here. I'll say 1/82nd of every game, 1/82nd of your contract every day that you don't play, and then we'll just ride out like that. I think I applaud the fact that not going to allow you to not perform and hold a barrel over us in terms of moving you to another team.
Yeah.
Like you know me, I'm always on a player side. But sometimes you're not doing this in the right way.
What's he gonna do? I mean, now the new team that's involved is Golden State. My goodness.
I mean, we jumped all over with what team, and for Golden State it would be again a team that you are in essence saying that we are going to try to win for you, Steph, in these next 2 years. We are going to give these 2 years for you to win. But guess what? After them 2 years, well, what are you going to have left? Because who are you going to give? You're definitely not talking about giving no Jonathan Kuminga for no doggone Jimmy Butler. And if you do that, man, I'm definitely out of the loop in terms of the thoughts on players. Because listen, I think Jimmy Butler is a nice piece. I don't know how much he has in the tank to be able to say he's the guy that can win the championship for you.
Yusuf Nurkic down in Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, he and Coach Budenholzer haven't spoken to each other in 2 months.
Well, the thing with that is, and it was weird because I think they picked up Nick Richards.
Yes.
Who's been playing.
He's starting.
Right, and he's been playing really well. And when I saw he was starting, I was like, but Big Fella's not hurt anymore.
No, he said, we don't have a relationship, so it's fine. For me, just be a pro and do the best I can, work and stay ready for whatever it might be. But there's no chaos or bringing that to this team. They have plenty of it.
That was the chaos right there. He was doing good until the last statement.
They already have plenty of it.
Well, listen, they had
Good
the Bradley.
for you.
They had the. I mean, they have to figure out what they're going to do with Bradley Beal.
Yeah.
And then Bradley Beal, I was saying he had the incident with fans in the stands, with his wife and kids being around, to where the heckling of him went so far to where their son started to cry. She had to leave the gym.
Oh my.
So there's a lot going on in Phoenix.
College basketball note this week, Brev. Dan Hurley said to the ref, did you see that video when he said he starts, you know how he does, how he gets insane and starts screaming at the referee. He said, don't turn your back on me. I'm the best coach in the effing sport. He said that to the ref. And Hurley's response to it in the postgame was, that's just the problem. I mean, I have a camera on me all the time. It's and it's probably not fair. Oh Jesus!
Tell them, Hurley.
You know why the camera's
That's how we do it in Jersey, baby.
You know why the camera's on you all the time? Because you're the best coach in the effing sport.
Yes, when you win back-to-back championships, you let the people know exactly what your stature is in college basketball.
Chiefs and the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. How about my Chiefs? That was impressive over the Buffalo Bills. Unbelievable.
All you do is catch the ball, bro. Like it was right here in his hands. It's the same way as old boy from the Ravens.
Yeah. So that was good. And then the Eagles. Holy smokes! The Eagles showed they're the best team in the NFC. I mean, Commanders. It was a fun little ride, but you stepped up in competition. I think. Wow.
Well, hold on. The thing, and it was all about. It was like, okay, we got to stop Saquon Barkley. Okay, well, first play of the game, 60-yard touchdown.
There he goes.
Then it was like, well, no, we're just going to make Jalen Hurts throw the ball. Jalen Hurts throws the ball everywhere.
And runs in the pocket like nothing's happened to him.
Like his knee was just fine.
His brain's fine. His knee's fine. He's running around like everything's great.
The thing was,
it was unbelievable.
They tested him. They're like, well, we're going to see. Sirianni, can you really get your guys to play? Is he going to be healthy enough? Jalen Hurts going to be healthy enough? I don't know if he's ready for the big moment or the wide receiver. Are they going to be able to get open and do all this stuff? And then you look down, 55 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he had 4 touchdowns himself.
Yeah. That was pretty impressive.
Shoo.
Pretty darn impressive.
I didn't do good on my picks, just so you know.
Chiefs have now won 18 straight games. 1 possession games. 18.
They're amazing. How many teams would run just hand the ball off, let's just run the clock down as much as we can. We don't even want to do a pass play that may stop the clock. They did 2 on third down. They did on the first possession, they got a first down and third down, and then they come right back on the next one, and they go third down, they do another little, the back out of the backfield, throw it to them, run, the game's over. I'm like, this is Patrick Mahomes, dude, and it's Patrick Mahomes, but what's the head coach name?
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid is freaking amazing.
He's amazing, yeah.
And to be the age that he is and still connect the way he does with his teams is phenomenal. Man, that's it. Man, that was no 30 minutes.
That was 30 minutes, yeah.
I talk too much.
How about that? All right, well, I got another thing too.
All
so
right,
I've tried to watch this TGL. All right.
That's the golf league.
Dude, it's terrible. I'm watching dudes hit golf balls into a television screen.
That's a simulator.
I understand what it is. I've seen them before. But why am I when I'm at the bar, I don't watch other people do it. I'm doing this because they're professionals to watch them hit it into a simulator?
Well, also
the crowd. And the thing that I noticed the most, when they introduced the celebrities that were in attendance, oh my God, if you do go sometime, you will be number 1 on the celebrity list. Brevin Knight, NBA, is here. I might even get on there. Grizzlies sidelines. Rob! Hey, BK. Yeah, I might be introduced. My God, it's a who's who of nothing. It's terrible.
You thought it was that bad?
So bad. I watched maybe 7 minutes. Got about 7 minutes.
They got the shot clock, so you can't. You got everybody. You hearing everybody talk the whole time.
It's just nothing. Did nothing for me.
At the end of the day, it's still golf. I mean, how much? Like how?
And I don't like watching golf. Maybe that's
so
the
that's
problem.
the problem.
But I thought this was different.
It is.
It's not that different.
Then you turn around, they got a rotating green that has pumps underneath that changes the green every time. You got to get deep into this.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brevin Knight is here.
And then the person next to you like, who's that?
Who's that? Oh, Lord. All right, couple of toasts.
All right.
Toast to my friend Walt Frazier.
Oh.
Great to see him always. And
Always
thank
great.
you for the picture. You took the picture. I appreciate it.
Skills. I've been around Tom Hewitt a long time.
He's the coolest man in the NBA. Coolest man, maybe NBA history. Arguably, coolest man in NBA history.
He is. You and him are stylish.
Well,
he's
on another level.
I mean,
He's head to toe every night.
You're not bad. You're not too far.
Yeah.
His is probably a little bit more authentic than yours.
Yes. I think that's a very kind way of putting it. Also a shout out. I watched it today. It's like a week and a half old, but I watched it today. Shout out to Glorilla. Can I give a shout out to Glorilla?
yeah.
She was fantastic on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, she
Chappelle
was.
hosted the show. He was amazing. He did the first 30 minutes was his monologue.
I saw that one.
It was awesome. He was great. And she was fantastic. She looked great. Songs were great. She put on a show. So shout out to Glorilla.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, she got to come to another game, too. You got to come to another game.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Glorilla. I know someone's got tickets.
Just in case you can't
In
get
case
in.
you can't get in.
Oh, man. Well, no, I got a shout out.
All right.
I want to shout out my nephew, Brandon Jr. I went to his game, and freshman playing varsity. It was fun to see him out there running around, competing. And so shout out to you, Junior, for not just that accomplishment, but the way that he's grown up and matured has been absolutely fun to watch.
Very cool. Very cool. It was a short trip to the city. It was a miserable game, but it's always fun going there. It was a delight
The
to be in New
city's
York.
always fun to go to. And I'll tell you this much. The Grizzlies going to kick the Rockets' ass tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be on the promo.
And I'm telling Dylan, too.
All right. That's going to do it for us. That's a good way to end it. So we can edit it off if we have to. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. You can watch always, each and every week on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. For Brevin, I'm Fish. You can catch us on Twitter as well, at The Fish Nation, at Brevin Knight 22. We'll talk to you again next week here on Night Court.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Night Court podcast. If you enjoyed Rob and Brevin, hit that like button, subscribe to the Bluff City Media YouTube channel, and enjoy the content. We will see you back here next time.